Welcome back. Now we're showing hit numbers when we hit the enemy, and they're animated and they fly up and to the left and fade out. Now in this video, we're going to display those numbers a different color if we get a headshot. Let's go ahead and get started. Now in enemy.h, we have this function show hit number, which we made public, and we're calling this from the shooter character class whenever we shoot the enemy. Now we can add an additional parameter to this function of type bool in order to know whether or not the hit is a headshot. Let's add a bool to this called b headshot. Now when we're calling this in shooter character, we can now pass in a boolean for whether or not this is a headshot. Let's go back into shootercharacter.cpp and find where we're calling show hit number. And that's going to be here in our send bullet function. So we're calling show hit number just after we determine whether or not we get a headshot. But now we need to pass in a boolean that's true if it's a headshot and false if it's not a headshot, which means we're going to call this in the if statement as well as the else statement. So here in the if statement, where we have a headshot, we're going to call show hit number, and for the third parameter, we're going to pass in true, since this is a headshot. And in the else statement, we're going to call show hit number, only we're passing in false. So now this blueprint implementable event show hit number will receive a boolean that's true if it's a headshot and false if not. Let's go ahead and compile this. Okay, so we've compiled. Now we're going to go back into hit number, and I'm going to bring this animation track back to 0 seconds so we can actually see the number. And I'm going to select the hit number, and here in appearance we have color and opacity. We can create a binding for this. So I'm going to click bind and create binding. And now we have a return value of type slate color structure. Now I'm going to right click and promote this to a variable, and I'm going to call this return color. Now we need to set the value of return color based on whether or not this is a headshot. So we need to have a variable of type boolean on hit number that will be true when it's a headshot and false when it's not. So let's add a new variable of type boolean, and we're going to call this headshot. Now I'm going to make this visible, and we're going to have a branch here that will use headshot as the condition. So we'll have two cases, one for a headshot and one for a non-headshot. So we need a couple of variables of type slate color for these different colors. So let's add a new variable, and we'll call this headshot color, and we'll set this type to slate color. And we'll add another new variable, and we'll call this body shot color, and this will also be a slate color. Now let's compile these, and for body shot color, we're going to set this color to white. So I'm just going to take the saturation and bring it all the way down and click OK. So this is now a white color. And for headshot color, I'm going to change this color to something a little bit more red. I might make it actually a little orange almost, and I'll click OK. And so now we have a headshot color and a body shot color. And we just need to set return color based on the true or false case. So let's Alt click and drag out return color and duplicate this so we have two setters. Now in the true case, we do have a headshot, so we're going to set return color equal to headshot color. And in the false case, we're going to set return color to body shot color. And for both of these cases, we're going to drag them into the return node. And so now we have a binding for the color of our hit number. We now need to set this value when we create the widget. So let's compile and save this and go into enemy BP. And just before we play the animation, we're going to take our return value from the create hit number widget, drag off And let's type headshot, and we're going to set headshot. And you'll notice event show hit number now has this headshot boolean because we added it to our Blueprint implementable event function header. We're going to take this value and plug it right into our set headshot node. And we can call set headshot right after we set hit text, and right after we set headshot, we can call play animation. Now these nodes are getting a little jumbled, so we might want to make this a little more orderly. So I'm going to set create hit number widget and add to viewport and set position all three up here. And let's put the project world to screen and get player controller just under set position and viewport. And then I'll call store hit number right down below that, and we'll call set hit text below that, and move these out of the way. We'll call set headshot just under set hit text, and play animation last. So let's compile and save this and test it out. I'm going to go ahead and hit play and shoot the enemy in the body, and we get a white number, and shoot the enemy in the head, and we get a red number. Perfect. Now that red is a little too red for me, so I'm going to go into our binding function, and I'm going to set our headshot color, and I'm going to take this and make it almost a yellowish color. I'll compile that and play this again. I think that looks a lot better. All right, that's going to conclude this video. We now have different color hit number text depending on whether or not we got a headshot. Perfect. All right, I'll see you in the next video.